platform. I'm Keystone and this is Redbone. We launched this platform as a way of speaking to the people from a point of view that we feel may have been overlooked or just not heard. It seems to be a lot of interest in the city of Pacoima, a few miles north of Los Angeles. Our story is too complex for just one point of view, so we decided to give you a full insight into our hometown, Pacoima, California. We're going to get into our history, street culture, politics, sports legends, and music legends. From the sometimes bitter, sometimes sweet relationships between the blacks and the Pacoima Latinos, to the contentious interactions with the Foothill Division Police Department. Pacoima has a unique voice that distinguishes itself from the greater Los Angeles area. We've heard from everyone else, now it's time for the Pacoima.
Welcome back, Stone and Bone, baby. Once again, we have your boy Keystone here. We have the ambassador, Darrell Fowler, Pacoima Red, Mr. Redbone himself. And then today we have a special guest, one of the Sykes brothers, man. It's like 4 of them came to Pacoima.
Sykes boys, they know us.
Sykes boys, one of the Sykes boys, man, came to Pacoima back in the day, man. Came by to hang with us today, give us his perspective. So, Vic, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, OG? I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, we appreciate you coming on, man. So, what year were you born, man? What city were you born in?
So, I was born in 1975. I just made 50 on June 24th. Praise God.
Happy birthday. Like, just made it.
Happy birthday, homie. Whoa, whoa.
Welcome to the 50s, man.
So, I was born in Kankakee, Illinois.
Okay.
Say that again.
I was born in Kankakee, Illinois.
Kankakee. How far is that from Chicago?
50 miles south. So whenever we were younger, people always thought we was from Chicago.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, that just triggered, you just triggered a core memory right now.
So what it was like a suburb of Chicago, or
no?
It wasn't Chicago at all?
Yeah, so Kankakee is 50 miles south of Chicago. It is a suburb in Illinois. It's a big black community out there. That's where all my folks that migrated from the south, they ended up in Chicago, Kankakee. I really don't know the whole backstory to it, but all my peoples is from, Kankakee. I got peoples from Georgia, by the way of Georgia, and Mississippi as well. We got a lot of folks in Mississippi.
So yeah, I never heard of Kankakee. That's crazy. But
Kankakee, Killer Keys, they call it. Kankakee was the Palo Alto of Illinois. If you know about Palo Alto in the back of the day, what was the OG Fowler will tell you about Palo Alto? That was the murder capital of California for a long time. A little small spot that was just lit, right? So that's what ultimately led us, which is another story for another day, how me and my dad ended up coming to California on 39th and Halldale, about 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes walking distance from the Coliseum. That's where I first came to California from.
But how old were you then?
I was 4, so I was 4. So I'm a California guy, but you asked. I was born in Kankakee.
Your roots are there.
Now the rest of the crew, Delon, Sharon, and Tommy, and my mom and Dominique came 9 months later. And then that's when Pop set up shop, and then that's when we, became,
So you was living in L.A., not too far from the sports arena, I guess. Or
Coliseum.
From
where
the
the Raiders
Coliseum.
play at.
Oh,
Where Raiders
okay.
played. Where the Raiders
Okay.
played. 39th and Halldale.
So you went to school around there?
Then we moved to Marvin. Well, first we moved to Rimpaw, which was near Dorsey, right?
Okay.
So near Dorsey, we lived off of Rimpaw for a couple years. I was young. I went to elementary school, kindergarten over there. And then by like the 3rd grade, we moved to 2nd grade, we moved to Marvin off of Washington and Marvin on the west side. Marvin Avenue, Crips. We lived right in that neighborhood. right?
Okay.
Pops is young. Pops is young. He got 5 kids, and he's 21, 22. In the height, and this is 1981, 82, 83, right?
So they was banging.
And Pops was active, but he never
Whoa.
gangbanged because he's from Illinois. So he don't. He come out here, he ain't
Right.
with all that. He with what they had going on out there in Illinois, which is different. You know what I'm saying? So he's already he's already an OG.
So Pops wasn't with the Vice Lords or the folks and none of that?
No. He never ran with no gangs. We were raised to be, you know, our family was, you know, we the Sykes boys. We was our own crew. He had his crew like it was never no affiliation like that. But just because being a young black man growing up in those areas, being a hustler and being a gangster, really, my daddy was a gangster. He had to do what he had to do to, you know, be a gangster in the hood and not be from the hood. So you can kind of deduce what that means from there.
Right. Okay. So
that was Marvin Avenue. We lived on Marvin Avenue. Then we shot over to Lausiana and Cadillac, Playboy Hood. So I grew up mostly in Playboy gangsterhood. I lived on C Street, on Corning Street. I grew up in the epicenter of Playboy gangsterhood.
Oh, wow.
Epicenter.
Damn. Right where, ooh. Okay.
2038 South Corning Street, the middle of it. I have so many different things that I could talk to you about. That's just a whole nother
That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother issue. Right.
So I went to Shenandoah. To answer your question, I went to Marvin Elementary, and then I went to Shenandoah, and then from Shenandoah, my sister in those group. So there was Lewis Pasture, which was in that area where I'm describing. You have Marvin Hood, you had Mansfield Hood, you had Playboy
and
Hood,
the Playboys, yeah.
and then you had all the essays, and then so at Pasture was so violent, thank God, that they closed it down. So I didn't right when I was about to go to junior high school, they closed it, which I'm thankful that they did because it was a.
So Vic, Vic. So let me ask you this: so you grew up in, so that's considered West LA, am I right? See, I heard, that's the Marvins, the Playboys, the Mansfields, like you said, the essays.
And we forgetting what you call it, schoolyards.
Schoolyards.
That's when you go to the swap meet up Pico in Washington, and you go to World on Wheels. I grew up going to World on Wheels.
I heard it. I
had birthday parties at World on Wheels when I was a kid. I got pictures of having birthday parties at World on Wheels. That's why I used to have my birthday parties when I was a kid at. You know, on Sundays. Sundays was the family day that you go up there.
So middle school, you was living right there.
Paul Revere. Then we got bused to Paul Revere, which is in Palisades.
Oh, wow.
Because that's why I was going to ask. I was like, man, because for most, middle school is when you really most likely got to choose. You got to choose a side, usually in middle school. It's like, especially in the 80s, it's like you a blood, you a crip, you live in this and that. Where your grandmama stay? Like, the cats is going to make you choose something.
Right.
So
you got to understand that my dad pushed the line so hard, them Playboys, none of them dudes wasn't messing with us. His story is different. His lifestyle was different. For me, I grew up like a kid that was like a square. You can consider me a square, non-affiliate.
Okay.
Because I didn't have to deal with none of that shit other than just the regular black man experience that we all go through growing up in the hood. You can't be no buster, play football, pop lock, all this shit that you grew up on the west side. But I never had to make no decisions with gangbanging.
Did you play football out there? Was you playing
Culver
football?
City Lancers, yeah.
Who?
Culver City Lancers. So I grew up near Hamilton High School. That would have been my high school. If I stayed out there, it would have been Hamilton High School. So the Culver City Lancers, we played against the Demos.
See, I heard of them. I heard of the Demos.
Yeah, the Demos.
I always heard of the Demos I always heard of the Demos. So
Long Beach Poly was cracking. Greater Compton wasn't no punk.
Okay.
Greater Compton.
Okay.
with the cart with the red and gold.
Okay.
Did you play against any dudes or play with any dudes that went to the league from back then, or any
So
dudes that went to SC or something from back then?
so Baldwin Hills was near Dorsey. So everybody
Okay.
that came up out of Baldwin Hills during that era, Keyshawn Johnson, he was older. It's so many different names. I got to really think about it. Shit, I haven't thought about
I
these
know. Hey,
names.
I know about Keyshawn Johnson. I know where he come up out of. So that's
Yeah,
another
so
story too.
Baldwin Hills.
Yeah.
So Culver City was we was getting smacked on by everybody. We whooped on Venice, but we was getting smacked on by the demos. We had some squads
Man.
every now and then though. We did have some
Okay.
squads. Um, so Warren Moon went to Hamilton,
Right.
Okay.
right? So we were some athletes on the west side that went to Hamilton. Hamilton was always sorry in football. And the Culver City and then also there was Wilshire. Wilshire was the other squad on the west side. So it was Wilshire,
Okay.
Baldwin Hills. Those were the west side squads. Culver City, we would hit or miss. Venice was sorry. We used to whoop on them. But Baldwin Hills, the demos, and Willowbrook, what was Woodcrest, Washington, right?
Okay.
And then Long Beach Poly and Greater Compton, they ran shit.
They was
Okay.
What
Okay.
position did you play?
I started off, I'll tell you, my dad was old school, so I started off on the line, right?
Okay.
I started off playing defensive line. You're gonna learn football in the Sykes household. You're gonna learn how to engage, you know what I'm saying, shed blocks, you're gonna learn how to block, you're gonna learn all the basic football fundamentals. And then every year I progressed to a skill position as I learned not to be afraid of contact.
Wow.
Right? So then I got more skillful. I wasn't that fast, but I wasn't scared to hit. So, move out the end. You know what I'm saying? Move the fullback.
Now because I know you guys a little bit, and I know where we're gonna get to. I want to ask this question: did Pops have y'all like on workout regimens or something like that, or what?
Boxing. We was boxing because my dad boxed, so we was scrapping. We had boxing gloves, punching bags. We used to have the boxing matches in the hood. That's what we was known for, getting down. Football was not, that was just something else we did. Basketball, but we was practicing beating niggas up is what we was practicing.
Yeah.
That was our training regimen. We really didn't do too much of the of the weightlifting and that kind of stuff. Nah, we didn't do a lot of that stuff. I learned now. I was neighbors with Tina Thompson.
Wow.
The basketball player, WNBA.
Yeah.
Right? David Fisdale.
Oh wow.
Right?
The coach.
David was a coach with the Miami Heat. He's still coaching right now. They were my neighbors, right? We grew up together. So now they were into basketball, and that's when I started getting a little bit more into training because they would go train at Santa Monica Beach every weekend because there was Robertson Park. Robertson Park, you had who came up out of there? A few cats came out of there. I want to say Cedric Sabalas was from the west side over there, and then there was what's the name? Mills, Chris Mills, I think his name was back in the day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They were from over there. So that park, Robertson Park, which is crazy because that was our neighborhood park. But if you go down Robertson to Pico, right, you're starting to go towards Westwood. You're starting to go towards Wilshire. So it was like a nice community over there. And where we lived at, it really wasn't like we lived in a hood per se. It's just that little area was active. But up through there, across Robertson, you got Cheviot Hills.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You got Culver City, you got Cheviot Hills.
That's a nice neighborhood. Yeah, they got a little money over there. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we didn't do a lot of training until I met those kind of people. They were running and, they were running the beach. But to be honest with you, the coldest training regimen, and I know where we're going to go is you can bring me back, was the first person I saw really getting active was Leon Blunt.
Wow.
His daddy had him on something, his people had him on something that I had never really seen like that before.
Okay. Wow.
So I'm gonna let you go where you're gonna go with this, but I'll give you my youth football perspective, because I got a unique perspective when it comes to youth football. Because I also lived in Rialto for about a year or two, and I was in the Inland Empire, and them boys got there and get down too.
Okay. Break it
that was
down.
after you was grown. You
What's
moved
that
to
again?
Rialto
No.
after you.
No.
While you was a
we
kid, you
moved.
lived in Rialto.
Yeah, so we moved part of us moved. My dad still stayed in LA, still, held down the fort. We moved out to Rialto when I was like in the 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, for just a little bit. Then we moved right back to the same spot. But LA is LA. You got, like I said, you had demos, you had Long Beach Poly, you had Baldwin Hills, you had Woodcrest, Willowbrook. I don't want to leave nobody out. Ballers, obviously Culver City Lancers. So, when you go out to a different community, you from LA, you think anything is like not as hip as LA is, right?
Right.
So you think you were the top of everything, right? So when we went out there in Inland Empire during that time, it was like Texas football is the best way I could describe it, right? They what I liked about what they had out there is that at junior high, remember it was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, right? So when you go to junior high school, there was an 8th grade football team and a 9th grade football team.
Okay.
Right? And then you go to B's at Ike, at Eisenhower, JV and varsity.
So they did it by grade level.
So now imagine you're playing junior high school, Rialto versus Riverside versus Colton versus all those Inland Empire, all those names, the junior high schools played each other every week.
Wow.
It was lit.
Damn.
Right? It was lit.
Who'd you play for out there?
I was with the Rialto Raiders. Rialto Raiders. So we was good. We held it down, but they had their version of the demos out there too, which was the San Bernardino Bears.
Okay.
San Bernardino Bears wasn't no joke.
Wow. Damn.
Right?
Okay.
So
That's
I was
deep.
like, wow, this was an incredible experience, to go from LA now to there. I moved back to LA, and then my last year I ended up playing for the rival, which was my rival, because Culver City didn't have a team old enough, which I played for Wilshire, right? My last year when I was like 14 or so. Then when we moved out to Pacoima, that's when I ended up playing for Bagheera when he left the Bears and started moving with the Falcons.
Okay. And what year was that when you guys moved to Pacoima?
Probably had to be, if I'm 14, probably 89, 90.
89.
Wow. Okay.
So what I learned in Pacoima was that everybody ran track and was fast, and you guys had the best running back that I had ever damn near seen. And I've seen a lot of good running backs, but Pacoima had some of the best running back and youth Pacoima's running backs. I was like, wow, it was like another level.
Who would you say? Who did you see? Who would you see?
Well, Jerry Brown was on my team, but he was like, he was little.
Charles White's younger brother.
Right, Charles White. So
That's right.
Reg was probably the coldest dude out there, but Reg is Reg. Ed was good, what I'm saying, little young Red Rock. Anthony Muse, Peanut, he was a beast, what I'm saying. Obviously, Blunt, Leon was cold. Who else? They had Wilbur. They had a running back named Wilbur on the Trojans that was a beast. Who else did they have? And then obviously, old boy from the Braves, which was, I want to say his name was, he got hurt though, getting our scrimmage. What's his name? Chalk. What's his name?
Tyson.
Tyson got hurt in the year he played against us in a scrimmage game.
Okay.
He got his collarbone broken against
Damn.
us. Yeah.
And what
So
division is this?
this
Hold
is the
on. What
senior.
division is this?
This is the oldest. This is the 15-year-olds. We the
Okay, the
oldest.
Bantams. Or the
Banners.
midgets. Okay, Bantam. Okay,
Banners. The
Bantam.
oldest. Yeah.
The Falcons, 89. Okay.
Well, probably 90. Probably was 90. I don't know. Whatever
Okay.
era went over there, it probably was 90, 91, something like that. I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you played in LA, you played in the IE, you played in Pacoima. Where was the best talent at?
I mean, you gotta collectively, you're gonna say LA because you just had, so many. It's so wide out.
Yeah, such
but
a big pool.
Big pool. I mean, a lot of dudes went to the league, but as far as running backs are concerned, Pacoima had the Valley had the best running backs that I had ever seen. I never seen what them dudes was doing at running back because everybody ran track in LA. Everybody don't run track like that. Just some dudes run track. All these dudes grew up running track, as far as I understand. So they was like a different kind of speed. The Inland Empire had a lot of guys too. But you got your white boy teams that are mixed in there as well. So they played the best football. You have the best football experience in the Inland Empire.
Wow. That's
the best
your
football
perspective
experience.
is tight. I love this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because you got Rialto, you got Colton, you got Barstow, you got Haruka.
Damn,
you got
for
Apple
real.
Valley, you got Apple Valley, you got Hesperia, you got Riverside, Rialto, you got you know what I'm saying, Bloomington. You have like all these different areas, and all of them are just like coming up together. Just quality football, hard hitting, just well coached. Communities.
Right.
You don't have as much. You got San Bernardino, where you don't have as much of the distractions that you have in the hood. You know what I'm saying? In Pacoima, in LA, everybody got more distractions out there. In these areas, these are all suburban communities, white boys, some Latino, a lot of blacks, where they're just a lot more dialed in. They have less distractions, more community support, so to speak, at this time.
So in your era, when you came to the Valley, which team won the championship? Which team was that team?
And we lost to the Trojans and they won it.
Who was on that? Okay.
It was controversial.
Okay.
Structo,
Hey.
what's his name? Structo, what's his name? We had some battles.
Structo.
What's his name? Tall, light-skinned brother.
I forgot. I can't even think of Structure's name right now. God damn it, that's
me
crazy.
and him had some battles.
I know his name. I know you talk about.
What's my
Dwayne.
man that went to Polk? You have Polk? I think
Deshaun Pope.
I think he was
Deshaun.
younger.
Hey,
He was
yeah,
younger.
he grew up on my block, bro. I seen that cat. Man, shout out to him. Poke, I'm looking for you. He been watching us too, Stone. But yeah, Poke was a beast,
and
bro.
then you had Leon. You had Leon Blunt.
Yeah,
Okay.
Blunt. He played for the Trojans too, Blunt.
Yeah, hell yeah. He was the reason why they won.
Damn.
So what did you see in his workout that was so phenomenal? Because you mentioned it earlier. You said, man, he had a workout.
His daddy had him. They was just lifting. That's the other thing about Pacoima, the weightlifting. Them dudes was so I couldn't even understand how strong, because we, dudes where we were from lifted weights that was from the penitentiary. My dad didn't lift weights. You know what I'm saying? We was scrappers, fighters, doing push-ups and running and stuff like that, jumping rope, hitting the speed bag and all that. But we didn't really push no iron, because that was mostly like I said, we weren't really gangbang affiliate family. So The dudes that was lifting weights, that none of my uncles gangbanged or any of that stuff. So I didn't really come up in a house where they were hitting that iron like that. Cats did, but that just wasn't my dad thing. But when I moved to Pacoima, everybody my age was already way stronger than me on the bench. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas was already pushing, like they was pushing weight. And I was like, whoa. So Leon was just ahead of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Because his daddy, whoever his folks is, they had him on one. You know?
Right. Wow, that's deep. That's
Yeah.
deep. Okay. So the Trojans was that squad in your
We was
area.
a squad. I think we beat them in the regular season. They got us in the championship. It was controversial. I think we played at San Fernando High School too. I think it was at San Fernando High School.
It was at San Fernando. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Well,
We,
you probably done seen some. If you seen some of our shows, it's a rivalry. That's why that's why we got to get the Pop Warner thing because
yeah.
everybody got to come pop their collar a little bit.
Well, so
So
the thing is that the Bears, I mean, the Falcons was really the year I came out there. People was looking at them like it was nothing, but it was Bagheera. So he still had that Bears energy with him. So technically, it would really have been a Bears team.
right, okay.
We smacked on the Bears, though. We smacked on the Bears.
Hey, he wanted. Hey, Bagheera wanted that one too, though. I know how he felt when he played that one. Man, he pumped you guys up, didn't he? What was that? What was the pep? What was the pep talk for that Bears game when it came down playing them? Do you remember?
Let me see. Bagheera, he was a little older. He wasn't too hyped. I had Jaime was my coach and Joel was my coach. I
Okay,
don't really think our. I mean, listen to the guys we had on our team. I had Reg. I had Ed. It was me. I had we had Cash Jones. We had Peanut. We had what I'm saying. We was on one. They didn't have to. They just let us off the leash. We was ready. Just go out to Palmdale and make sure you go get Reg though. I'm driving out there to make sure we get Reggie though. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So,
That's
yeah,
tough.
we
right.
really didn't. It was already understood because I think Ed played for the Bears, and I think Reg was a Brave, as far as I
Okay,
know. And then who else? I don't know. I just know those guys. I know some of the guys were Bears, some of the guys were Braves, and I knew they grew up playing against each other. I really didn't know, the whole dynamics of everything. But I remember for that game, Bagheera, for me, what I remember about him, rest in peace, is that he wasn't super animated. He was very smart, and he was just, he was a real good teacher, and he just had us prepared, and we
For
just,
real.
you know what I'm
I
saying?
Man, I can just imagine because see, like I grew up, my wife and my wife and them, their whole family grew up on in that Bears organization. So I
Okay.
grew up and saw Bagheera, all that, bro. So when it switched over, I was going on a vacation, but I heard about it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I can imagine how that was. And you said y'all had Jerry too, huh?
Jerry was
See, I
young.
remember because I was hearing about when he left when that shit happened, boy. That
So
was
our
them.
backfield, we ran the wishbone. I was the fullback. Reg was the
Okay,
quarterback. We had
okay,
I'm missing one dude's name, Tyrone Crenshaw.
okay, 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 okay,
It's me, Crenshaw, and Jerry in the backfield
okay.
on the wishbone.
Damn, damn.
And Reg is that quarterback.
So, Reg, hey, that 49er guy, Reg.
Yeah, dirty whiners. Yeah, that dude right there.
Say it again, baby. Yes, sir.
That Buster, you
Yeah.
still you see him telling him I call him a Buster, and I'm gonna tell him to his face he's a Buster.
I can't wait
That's
to post
right.
this one. I can't wait
Yeah.
to post this
Nah,
Shout
one.
that's
out
that's
to you,
my brother.
Reg. We
Reggie's
love
my
you,
Shout
brother.
Reg.
out to the
For
homie.
real, love you,
Reggie's
Reg.
my brother. That's my
Come
brother
on,
right there.
man. Man, I love you, Reg. We know that,
Right.
but we know what this is.
Yeah, Reds
Shit.
know what's happening. Hey, so now you went to high school. You ended up at El Camino, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So how did that you had to take a bus or how did that work?
Yeah. So I take the bus right there from the terrace. We go down to Foothill in Paxton, I want to say, every
Damn.
morning.
So before we
No,
go
Foothill
there,
and Glen Oaks. Which one is
before
Paxton? It goes Paxton and Glen Oaks and Paxton. Whichever one is closest to the terrace.
probably
You know how you go all the way up
The,
to
the
Paxton,
166?
Paxton and Foothill is closer to It's closer to the terrace, you said,
right?
right?
So,
Paxton and Foothill closer to the terrace.
Foothill and Paxton, yeah, closest to the
Before
terrace,
we go there though, you guys moved to the terrace when y'all moved to the
to the valley.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Y'all moved to Lakeview Terrace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jewett. We lived on Jewett.
Y'all lived on Jewett. Okay.
Right right around the corner from I forget the other homie too. Trig. Trig. Who did Trig play for? I think Trig played for. Did Trig
The
play for the
Trojans.
Bears? I remember.
I think
which
Trey
trig?
played
Big trig or little
for
trig?
Lil
Talk about little
Trig.
trig.
I went to Kennedy with
Okay.
Lil Trig.
both
That's my
of them.
homeboy, John John.
Both of them. But
Yeah.
he
Okay,
Lil
John.
Trig. He's Lil Trig's age.
Yeah.
Okay.
John
We went to
John.
Okay, I'm
Kennedy
tripping.
together.
Okay.
That's my homeboy.
Oh, the
Yeah.
mailman.
The
Shout out to you,
mailman.
mailman. Yes, sir. I love you,
Shout out
homie.
to y'all, man.
That's my
Love you,
guy.
nigga.
Yeah,
For
Yeah.
you
real.
stop ducking and bring your ass on the show.
Come on,
Right.
man.
He
So, okay, so you lived over there on Jewett. Wow,
yeah.
that's deep.
Right behind Trig.
Right behind Trig. Wow,
Okay, I know where that is. Okay. Hey, so the terrace, how was the terrace growing up? Up in the terrace, how was it up there?
So for us, you got to remember, I grew up in the epicenter on C Street, the gangbanging
Okay.
in apartments,
Okay.
right?
Okay, okay.
So my parents are moving us as youngsters, what they think is into a suburb,
right.
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
Let's
we
move over to
really,
the let's
we
move to
really didn't
Lakeview
have
Terrace.
no idea of what Pacoima, Lakeview Terrace really was about.
This is
Right.
So it was cool for the most part, but because we didn't have that, you didn't have niggas hanging on the corner, coming by, with drive-bys and all that kind of stuff happening. It was a heavy gang activity, so it was good from that perspective.
Right.
For us, you know what I mean? Because where we
Right.
lived at, it was the hood where that was their hood. I never really even been to the Noms like that because I didn't know nobody really from Pacoima, Piru like that, so. What kind of business I got in the Noms, but I knew that's where gang activity was, and I don't really have no business in there. I didn't have no girlfriend in there, so
For real. For
you know what I
real.
mean. So
hey. Nah, go ahead, finish.
so when we moved out here, for me, Jewett was like it was all good. There was some different incidents that went down, but reason why I ended up going to McClay, right? Is
Oh, you went
because
to
so we moved
McClay.
out there. We moved in like the second semester, spring or second semester, right? Spring semester, right? So my brother Delon, he wasn't old enough to go to Elko. I was. I went to Elko. He went to McClay. When we got home from school that day, he said, "Vic, you have to come to school with me. There's no way I can go to that school by myself. It was too active. It was too active, right? It
Right.
was just too active. So I had to check out of Elko in order to go to McClay so that I could have my brothers back every day because, between the essays and the bloods, it was he had no it was nothing he could do. So that's how I ended up going to McClay, and that's where I saw the real Pacoima lifestyle. That's where I met Reg and Ed and all those guys.
Right.
So you held back a year for school, like
No, because remember it was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade back then.
Oh, but Elko was ninth through 12th. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Now that makes sense. That makes sense now. So you held back so you could go with little bro to school. Yeah. That's an active generation too.
We was fucking up the ecosystem. We was fucking up the ecosystem because in the West LA, the essays, the politics, it was different politics. So we not turning down no fades.
in LA,
No, appointment.
in Pacoima. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that in the 90s.
That was at McClay. Hey, I know what he talking about. That was at McClay, right?
Yep.
See, I know what he talking about. That's
early
deep, homie. The gang, the gangs, that gang shit was really tripping at McClay, bro.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
We was
So
fighting
that's a
them-
whole nother
we-
story.
Because see, the way my dad raised us was not to turn down no fades, right? So we ain't turning down no fades. It was probably a better idea to not, it's not just like it was in LA. It was different because it was more black people predominant in our neighborhood. The 18 streets weren't near us like that. So we didn't have to deal with them the way that y'all had to deal with the Latinos out here. We never had to deal with that.
That's deep. That's deep. And look, no, and for my brown brothers out there watching, there's no disrespect. We're talking about the early 90s when
But you got to, hey, listen, you got to remember. Go ahead, Stomp. Go ahead. I don't
everybody
mean to
can
cut you off.
agree the early 90s is when that divide started coming in between the blacks and the Latinos in Pacoima. And it started, and it was going both ways. It was a lot going both ways. So what you was about to say, Bone?
It was motherfuckers gang banging, homie. It wasn't really like no nigga we hate you. It was the gang shit. Cause it wasn't no there ain't never been no racist shit like that. It was the gang shit. Motherfuckers trying to test motherfuckers. So don't let nobody get it twisted like we was,
Shout out to
nah.
Javi. Shout out to Javi. Reg put me into a whole different experience. Javier lived in the terrace. Him and Reg was like this. And
See what I'm saying?
Javi went to Pacoima. I mean to San Fernando. And Javi ended up being we used to spend the night at Javi's house with his mom. I never really experienced Latino culture. Now here's the other thing. I never really had my first carne asada burrito until I moved to Lakeview Terrace, the spot over there off of by Silmar, Astoria. That's the first time I had a real Mexican food experience. So it was the gang stuff, really was what it was. But you know what I'm saying? So where we lived at, we had already dealt with all the gang. We had protection. My dad put it down for us. We didn't deal with no gang stuff, right? We knew where not to go. We knew what not to wear. We knew what not to do. But we come into a new ecosystem where it's young, active, PJ boy, whatever, Pierce boys, whatever they gang is, whatever they was on. And we wasn't about to get bullied by nobody or fucked with at all. So
see? So for real, that's what it was. A lot of them, they were sweaty people they know who they was getting at, homie. So ain't no disrespect though, bro. But it was all behind the gangs, homie, because at first everybody got along, homie. It wasn't no problem at all back then. Then the bullshit started coming. And then next thing you know, at McClay, Shaq and them era, that age group, that's when it started going off at McClay. And that's when all y'all, that's what, for real, I remember, bro. And here we are.
Yeah. So I mean, but my kids are Latino, part Latino. My kids are Central American. You know what I'm saying? I married a Latino woman. Like I got a lot more cultured from being out there, to be honest with you, because before then we were just mostly all black people. Even though I'm light skinned, obviously, but my mom is we black, so we really didn't. And I think that it was more about just the demographics and amount of people, just the different groups. In different parts of LA, now don't get me wrong, in different parts of LA, they grow up side by side with Latinos.
Look, no, real talk. But like I said, you stayed in West LA, homie. And if a lot of people don't know about West LA, my relative was from out there. You got the gear gangs over there too, all that shit, homie. I know my shit, bro. I ain't trying to say it like that, but I have family members that stayed out there, and I was out there. I saw all that shit. So he's coming from a whole different get down, coming to our town, and they can't say it was racial bullshit going on back there. It just started behind the gangs, bro. It wasn't no like black person just getting at him. It was gang members. So like he said, he ran across them niggas. Y'all wasn't gang banging, but y'all still wasn't finna take that shit. And the rest was that's how it went, homie. For real, bro. We didn't start tripping.
Football took me to eventually to college. You know what I'm saying? So then as you get older, you become educated. So now, you just stay away from people that are not in those. I'm not in those same circles no more. And so I used to hear about a lot of different stuff going on with the Latinos and the blacks. But I was always like away from it because I just wasn't in that environment. But I know it started
Right.
getting real bad in those areas at a time.
So did going to school in the West Valley at El Camino, you think that took you up out of that having to be presented with that everyday type of situation, or what was the ecosystem like at El Camino High School? What was it like over there?
I mean, we on the west side of the valley. We young. My dad died at an early age. We own one. We dealing with girls. We doing some other stuff. We got all, we could find mischief, right? But I think that through the grace of God, I love football so much, right? And I kept going to school. So by the time I started becoming a young man and I started becoming more educated in college, I went up north for a minute. I went to Solano, Vallejo. That's a whole other situation. That was crazy. But then I end up at Whittier College. So now I'm just reading, I'm expanding who I am as a person. I'm still me, but, I'm looking at life differently now. So I'm less likely to be involved in some kind of gang banging activity and stuff like that, because I really don't. I can see Reg, I can still see my homies. We still affiliating, dealing with stuff outside of those little areas, and that's the difference between really me and my brothers. Because my brothers, they really stayed in there. They've like damn near more from Pacoima than they are from LA in some senses. Because them niggas was, they grew up. They were 13, 14, 15, 16. You know what I'm saying? So they got a lot of ties in there that I really understood, because I was already like 16, 17. I understood I was already kind of on the other side of that adolescence where I was less likely to get caught up in that shit.
So you I know you say your pops passed at an early age. How old were you?
17.
17. Wow.
He was only 30. He was 36.
Oh wow. Damn. So did you feel the pressure of, I'm the big brother, I gotta take care of my younger brothers, be an example for them? Did that kind of
That's why honestly I stopped. Like I brought everything that would have gotten me led into a different lifestyle. I couldn't let them see that. I had to always keep that out of their eyesight, because I know by them seeing me, that's like giving them permission, even though they still made their choices, but they never seen me. I never put put them in a situation where, because my dad raised me as a soldier. You know what I'm saying? He raised me. We had a hierarchy. He was the head motherfucker, and then there's me, and then there's them. So I understood my role. So I didn't take it for granted that I had to make it. I had to make something of myself, because I knew that they were always watching me. And if I was be out there doing dumb shit, that's giving them permission to do dumb shit. And so I didn't take that responsibility lightly.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep, man. Hey, man, you know what? Shout out to your pops, bro. He sound like a hell of a dude, man.
Yes.
Real deal. Shout out to
Lonnie Sykes, and all of them dudes. Ask Reg about my pops. Ask Ed about my pops. Ask any of them dudes that was on that Falcon team about my pops, and they'll tell you that he was one of them dudes that he was coach. He was their he also coached, but he was a gangster, so he could recognize the gangsters and recognize that Reg was damn near like a grown man at 15. So he kind of treated him more like a man than he treated me, to be honest, in some ways. You know what I'm saying? Because he could already see that this nigga's grown already. Like
he didn't have that innocence in his eyes no more.
Yeah. So he was like their OG to that degree. You know what I'm saying? So. But yeah, it was a great. He was one of them dudes that they just don't make them like that no more. Like from y'all era, they don't make. These people are different. These people don't. They come from a certain. They coming out of it. He was born in '56 maybe. So he just barely missed going to Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? The Black Panther Party was thick all across the nation. So they had that militant kind of mindset to them, you know what I'm saying? Right. They had that energy on everything they did. It was just, it was a kind of different breed of those dudes.
Wow. Was he a Panther?
He was. I don't know if he was a Panther, but he got some pictures with black leather jackets and fists in his hair and afro. But I don't think he was really, he was too much of a thug to be. He had kid. Well, I shouldn't say that. He had his first kid at 17. You know what I'm saying? He was with my mom. So by the time he was 21, he had all 5 of his kids, and he was a responsible dad. Like he was our daddy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we never. So I don't think he really had a lot of energy for that stuff. But he definitely got his own reputation in every neighborhood in Playboy hood. They know who Lonnie Sykes is.
Man, yeah, he sound like a stand-up dude, man. Gotta shout out to your pops, man.
Yeah.
So now, you went to college. You played football in college too.
Yeah, so that's when my body started breaking down. I had surgery here and here, all that hitting, playing safety, it was, and then obviously the trauma of losing your pops at 17. I was holding on the line between being somebody else. So I was just trying to do everything I could just to maintain my sanity, really, to be honest with you. I was going crazy at that time, to be honest with you. I mean, not like,
You grew up early, man. You grew up
yeah,
fucking early. Excuse my language, but that's exactly what happened. He grew up very early, at the age of 17. He had to grow all the way
yeah,
up. Shit, shout
yeah.
out to
So
you,
it's
Vic.
traumatic.
Shit.
It was traumatic. You lose
That's traumatic.
the strength and the center of your family. So, you really like. I lost some years, to be honest with you. I think I lost like 3 or 4 years just existing. I was still maintaining and playing football and going to school, trying to be eligible and that kind of stuff. But I still was just like, I can't even describe it. It was like lost time or something.
Okay. So by how old were you when you started having your own children?
I've had my daughter when I was 23.
23?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that when you had to shake yourself out the fog and start trying to get back to, hey, I gotta really figure out what I'm trying to do now.
Well, so God knew to give me a girl because I instantly started thinking that, this child going to end up dealing with my karma if I keep being the way that I am. If I would have had a boy, I probably would have kept being the type of, womanizer, man, just a dog, like kind of person that I was in that way. But having a daughter, it made me be like, whoa, I gotta, this is a female. So I gotta think about how what I'm doing is gonna affect her. So yeah, it definitely changed me and softened my heart in a lot of ways towards people, to be honest with you, because, you know how it is. You grow up in the hood, you be hard towards anybody. So I became a lot softer towards people, like, from that standpoint.
Okay. So when did you get into fitness?
So by my dad dying of colon cancer, right?
Yes.
So you got to think back at this time, this is like, what the fuck is going on, right?
Right.
So people were not really associating health with disease and lifestyle with disease. So a lot of my family and friends, not family and friends, but my elders were kind of saying like it's hereditary. They were thinking like, hey, you better get checked. And they were just, basically putting it on me. Like, you gonna get that too type of thing. But something inside of me, which I know it was God, was telling me, nah, it was that nigga's lifestyle. That nigga drank Schlitz, you know what I'm saying? He drank 12 beers a day. He smoked cool Filter Kings. He ate one fatty meal a day. I never really seen him eat too many fruits or vegetables. So something inside of me said that even though 36 is still young, people do still have the same lifestyle that my dad lived and can live to be 80. So it is very young, and there's probably some genetic predisposition, but I just felt in my heart that it was his lifestyle. So I started researching how lifestyle affects health, and sure enough, the science and the data shows that lifestyle plays a big role in developing that disease. And so what initially I thought was like, man, I don't want nobody to have to deal with what I dealt with at 17. So I'm going to share what I know with other people. And so I was like, should I become a doctor? And then, but to me, a doctor was somebody who was already on the back end of it, right? And it's already, they dealing with it in a different way. But what I do, what you were involved with as well, is preventative. So if you have a certain lifestyle, then you're less likely to develop disease. So that's what got me into it. And then, I worked for a major corporation, and eventually we always been entrepreneurs. We always been, pump your gas for a quarter, you know what I'm saying? Door to door, can I empty trash, selling candy in school. So naturally we're going to end up with our own business.
Wow. Hey, that's deep, bro. How you like I say, you turned what you went through with your pops into something positive like that, man. I salute to that. I didn't like I said, I've been knowing you, but I never knew that that's what got you into fitness the way, cause y'all go hard, man. Like I've seen you run up a mountain before, so I'm knowing. Trig, I remember that.
Yeah, literally, like I do it. I do it.
Bullshit.
Yeah, so I do it for that, and then it got to the point where I was with the gym. I was making money. I was in management. I was doing all this stuff, and then I started seeing the homies on Facebook and Instagram, and coming across my homies, and they wasn't looking. I'm starting to see a couple dudes pass away, and so I started like going extra hard on them. Like you know how we are. If somebody's saying nigga, you got you start talking, it make the homies kind of feel a certain way, and I was intentionally doing that because I wanted them to get back. Because like I said, all them dudes from Pacoima, them dudes was pushing weight in 13 or 14 that I couldn't even imagine doing. Right. Like they were the first ones I really started seeing at a young age lifting weights like that. So I started going hard on them. And then Trig, actually, I seen him change his lifestyle. And then that was like during COVID. And I was up one morning just praying. And then something said to me, Black Man Fit. And I just went to Facebook and I started that group, Black Man Fit. And I told Trig, you're going to be the face of it. And then we got like 3,000 people in that group, Black Man Fit.
Y'all push that shit, yes, sir, yes, sir.
That's how it came about.
I heard that. I'm in that little group too. I remember when you first started, so I know exactly
That's
what
why
you're talking about. I ain't did a motherfucking push up. I said so. Damn it, I got to get my shit right, y'all. For real. That's what that means. I'm listening too, so I really got to start doing that. So salute again.
It was motivate. It was motivation.
Come on, I still see it. Yeah, real shit. I see it. I'm in that group.
That was tight, man. BMF, a different type of BMF. You know what I'm saying? And then they do the church on the hill. I started hitting.
You was up there. You was up there fucking with it, right?
I was fucking with it for a while, man, but Sundays is hard for me because I be coaching and reffing and doing other things. But nah, that hill is no joke, and how you and Trig run up that thing is crazy to me. Like I never got to that point. I gotta go at my own pace, but y'all do it at a whole different level. So but you actually have, you and your brother have your own gym. Talk about it. What's the name of it?
So SB, Slim Body, right? Sykes Boys. You see the SB on the look like a Superman SB. That's really, it's kind of like a open secret. It's for Sykes Boys, but Slim Body, right? So Slim Body Fitness. I got also my Instagram is Sykes Fit. But yeah, I mean, really, it's part of the Pacoima story, to be honest with you, because we used to be in the backyard lifting weights with Reg, with Trig, with John, and Dwight, Patton, Poopy. Ed used to come up there. We used to have weights, so we would be all back there. We'd be lifting. We had the weight set, so they would all come to our backyard. We boxing and stuff back there. So, with the story that I told you about, with my dad, I ended up working for a major gym corporation. So I was kind of being trained on sales and customer service and the corporate aspect of fitness and really how to do memberships and all that kind of stuff. And then once we went out on our own, we just, like I said, we just felt like, why work for somebody else when we could do this for ourselves? You know what I mean? So
That's
I,
right.
obviously my brother, he's the youngest, Tommy. Shout out to Tommy. So he's
Shout out,
getting a
Tommy.
chance to see. He's getting a chance to see what not to do,
Right.
because he's a baby, right? So he
Real
got me,
talk.
right? He got Delon, he got Sharon. So he could see what not to do. And so he went to the military, and obviously we always been captains of our football teams and stuff like that. So he was one of the guys that were leading the squad for exercise in the army. You know what I'm saying? A youngster. So he leading the whole company, right? So we just always had that in us to kind of lead groups of men and whatnot. So so long story short, I started Slim Body Fitness, Slim Body Boot Camp. I was going in a different direction with the kind of a CrossFit type of gym we call Fit Ranks on the west side of the valley. But me and Tommy came together. I told him, keep this SB going just in case that don't work out. Keep pushing this, so we'll have something, whichever one. And sure enough, the Fit Ranks thing didn't take off like I wanted to, and he was just killing it with the Slim Body, SB. He was just taking it to the next level. So we both had gyms. I ended up closing that location. Then we both consolidated into the location in Chatsworth. And Baby Bro is killing it. We got a full book of clients. One thing that you will notice when you go to the site is that we train a lot of the youth, a lot of kids, and you could just see, like, to me, is everything that he kind of came up seeing in LA and Inland Empire, and especially in Pacoima, with my dad. My dad would be the one picking kids up, taking them to football practice, paying for them to play for football when they didn't have the money to pay, and coaching. So that Coach Sykes energy is alive and well inside the gym, and Tommy really embodies that Coach Sykes energy. I deal with the kids too a lot, but I mean somewhat, but not as much as he does. He really is like, with the kids, and the kids gravitate towards that energy, that masculine black male energy. That's the way I look at it, And so thank God it's been really good. We've been able to feed our families. I put Vic through school. My son graduated from Cal Lu, and I put him through school, through fitness, and everything that we have is based off of our grind in the fitness industry for the most part. You know what I'm saying? That's
deep. That's deep. Shout out to that, man.
Yeah.
Much respect. Shout out Tommy, man. Slim Body. So,
yeah. Slim Body
man.
Fitness. And then, we have a lot of people come through there, and kind of so many people from Pacoima. Lamar Schuler, shout out to him, rest in peace. His son, Tommy kind of mentors him. He's at Sierra Canyon playing football. And we actually had a 5K back in the day for him, just to, raise some money and kind of, wrap our arms around the Schuler family when they went through what we went through, because Tommy and Lamar was tight. So,
Yeah, I remember when he passed. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That's deep, man. Yeah, that's deep. So because he was playing for the Thunder as well, right?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
And then
Yep.
he's at Sierra Canyon now. Wow.
Yeah, he was with Coach Z, I think, with that group, with the Thunder.
I remember that. Yeah. Wow, that's deep, man.
Yep.
Okay. So, man, here we are, man. We right here about at that hour. That's where, that's it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too painful, right? It's a quick
good.
hour.
I appreciate it, man.
That's a quick hour, man. Nah,
I like this. This one was nice,
Your story's
brother.
incredible, bro. Your story's incredible.
I appreciate it.
So, let's wrap it up with one thing. What's the main point you want to leave the people with today?
So, it's the Pacoima, podcast, right?
Pacoima Perspective, yes, sir.
Pacoima perspective. So is the question from a Pacoima perspective, or how do you want to frame it?
Hey, we have Vic Sykes on the Pacoima perspective today. It was your story. What do
Yeah.
you want the people to know from Vic Sykes? What's
All
the
right.
main point you want
So
the people to
I
know
just
from
want
Vic
people to
Sykes?
know, to the people out there, when it comes to Packtown, Pacoima, I got
There
a
you
lot of
go.
love. I got a lot of
There you
love for
go.
Pacoima. You know what I'm saying? Couple, yeah, a lot of good memories out there. I learned it's a great community, it's a rich community, it's a slept on community, it's a slept on black community, and I'm learning more about this as I get older. Pacoima's rich in black, foundational black American culture, and the people from that place. I met some of the most solid individuals that I met, in my life in Pacoima. And, I just want people I want the people to know that it's just a great place with great people, and the people that come out of there, a lot of them don't hold what some of the weirdos do against the solid folks that come up out of there. Some real good people that are coming out of Pacoima, and it's a lot of good energy and love for Pacoima. That's what I want people to know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bone, what you got, man? Wrap it up.
Man, I just like how he spoke on the different nature from West LA to Pacoima. Point blank. He, I ain't got nothing else to say. I just want he brought it from right there. He came from another town to our town, and we showed him love. And then the rest of his brothers, they grew up here, and that's my Pacoima perspective right there. You feel me? Straight up. Shout out, Vic. And when he said
Appreciate you.
Coach Sykes, that made me go back then, because I remember that name when you said that. So, you know what I'm saying? I saw all them
Appreciate
cats play when they was young, man. That he said Blunt, all them, bro. Blunt went on to play for the Tigers. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
baller. We didn't even
See,
talk about
so
high school. Baller.
see, see. So yeah.
So my main point, a big point, what stood out to me in this conversation was, and this for everybody listening, you don't have to wait for the doctor to tell you what type of diet or what you should be eating. You don't have to wait for that.
Yeah.
A lot of this is not hereditary. What's hereditary, what you're inheriting, is how you eat, how your mom cooked, how your grandma cooked. A lot of times that's not what's best for you. And especially as black men that's got a high rate of high cholesterol and high blood pressure, all that stuff, pay attention to what you're putting into your body. Because that's deep that a solid dude like that passed away at only 36, bro. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
even
And
though he left hell of a legacy, but
yeah. So iron sharpens iron, right? So, go hard on your homeboys. Don't let your homeboys. You'll talk shit to your homeboy about him owing you money, or you talk shit about this or that. When you see the homies kind of slacking, I go, if Reg, I already told Reg, when you get 60 years old, I'm gonna beat your ass if you ain't in shape. You know what I'm saying, nigga? You better be in shape.
Huh.
I'm on you. You know what I mean? Because, and I kind of mean it a little bit, but at the same time, I want my people to stay young and virile. Like, wait a minute, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I want to be able to still handle my business. And we don't, just because we hit a certain number, certain age, don't mean that it's okay to let it go. You still the same dude I saw when we was, 13, 14 years old. That's how I look at you. I'm always hold you to that standard of being fly, being in shape, you know what I'm saying, and being on point and being on your square. So come at the homies like that, because the best ability in sports is availability. And my dad was not available to me no more. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what kind of dude he was, and he was a hell of a dude, a legend in the streets, right? You could ask about him, but he wasn't available no more. So we owe that to our families to be right when it comes to our health and fitness, because we got to be available for them.
wow, that's deep. On that note, I don't think no more needs to be said. I appreciate you, Vic.
I appreciate you, brother. Nice to meet you, brother.
Appreciate you, Bron.
That's right. That's right,
You know,
Vic.
we get together sometime. Hopefully, I'll see you. You know what I'm saying? And
On the
break
real.
bread.
We can do that. We can do that. I gotta get my ass in shape. Fuck it. Yep, gotta do it.
All right.